Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to set aside the worries of making ends meet and temporarily forget the dark schemes lurking in the shadows. Today, in this little house on the hill, a truly special event is taking place. You know, when life is full of deprivation, it's easy for people to forget their own milestones. Diem is no exception. She completely forgot that today is her birthday. But Toan, that man with no memory, didn't forget. Or perhaps his heart never forgets the important things related to the woman he loves. A birthday party with no cake, no scented candles, no expensive roses, just purple sweet potatoes, wild flowers, and a gift made from scrap wood. How will our billionaire manage to surprise his wife? And how will Diem react coming home after an exhausting day of labor? Let's immerse ourselves in this tear-jerking yet smile-filled episode, the poorest but warmest birthday party. Don't forget to like and subscribe to wish Deem a happy birthday. That morning, Diem woke up early as usual. She busily prepared breakfast, fed the newly bought chickens, and gathered her tools to go forage for bamboo shoots in the forest. Huyen, I'll be back late this afternoon. Just heat up the rice and eat without me. Don't wait, she called out into the house. Toan, who was wiping down the wooden table, looked up. Why are you going so far to pick bamboo shoots today? Yeah, I heard the bamboo shoots on the other side of the hill are delicious. If I gather a lot, I can sell them at the market for a good price. All right, I'm off. Diem left. Her small, fragile silhouette disappeared into the mist. Toan watched her go and sighed. She works too hard. He turned back inside to organize a pile of old personal papers he had gathered in a corner the other day. By chance, he picked up Diem's worn-out ID card. He looked at the birth date. Day. Month. Toan startled, looking up at the wall calendar Mr. Thu had given them. Today, it's today. Good heavens, today is her birthday, Toan exclaimed, slapping his forehead. Diem had surely forgotten. The struggle for food and clothing had washed away her personal joys. Toan looked around the house. He didn't have a single penny in his pocket. The money from selling carrots the other day was already spent on chicks and rice. How could he throw a birthday party with no money, no cake, no gift? But then Toan's eyes landed on the basket of purple sweet potatoes the villagers gave them yesterday, and the pile of scrap wood left over from building the bathroom. A mysterious, warm smile spread across the billionaire's lips. If we don't have money, we'll use love. Diem, tonight, I'm going to give you a surprise. Toan got to work on his grand project. First up, the birthday cake. No flour, no oven, no whipped cream. Toan decided to make a cake out of sweet potatoes. He picked the biggest purple sweet potatoes, washed off the dirt, and peeled them carefully. He started a fire in the newly built kitchen. The fire burned bright. The water boiled. Toan steamed the potatoes until soft a sweet aroma filling the kitchen. Then he poured them into a bowl and mashed them with a spoon. Toan worked meticulously like a 5-star chef. He mixed in a bit of sugar and coconut milk. He had just climbed the stunted coconut tree out front to get it. The purple potato mixture was thick and smooth. Toan found his nicest round bowl, lined the bottom with a banana leaf, and packed the potato in tight to shape it. When he flipped the bowl onto a white porcelain plate, a dreamy purple hemisphere appeared. That actually looks pretty good. Toan nodded, but it was too plain. Toan ran out to the garden. He found ripe red wild berries growing by the fence. He picked some white beggar-tick's flowers with yellow centers. He carefully arranged the red berries on the peak of the cake and placed the tiny flowers around the rim of the plate. The purple of the potato, the red of the berries, the white of the flowers. The handmade cake looked rustic, yet strangely artistic. The cake was ready. Now for the gift. Toan walked over to the woodpile. He picked up a small piece of rosewood, dark red and very hard. He took a sharp fruit knife and began to whittle. Toan wanted to make Deem a wooden hairpin. Diem's hair was long and black, but she always just tied it with a rubber band or used a ballpoint pen to bun it up. He wanted her to have something beautiful. Toan sat there, meticulously carving every curve. His large, rough hands, which usually only held hoes and hammers, suddenly became gentle and dexterous. He carved a simple but elegant apricot blossom on the head of the hairpin. Then he used sandpaper to polish it until the wood grain shone. Finished. Toan admired his work in the afternoon sun. The wooden hairpin was simple, but it held all a husband's devotion. I hope she likes it. Toan smiled, tucking the hairpin into his chest pocket, the place closest to his heart. 5:00 p.m. Diem dragged her feet home. Today was an unlucky day. She spent the whole time in the forest, but only gathered a few small bamboo shoots. To make matters worse, she slipped and fell on the way back. Her clothes were muddy, her knees scraped and stinging. Her whole body ached, and her stomach was growling. All she could think about was getting home, taking a quick wash, and collapsing into bed. She was so tired, she didn't even want to eat. Arriving at the gate, she found the house pitch black. No electric lights were on. Must be a power outage, or maybe Toan forgot to flip the breaker again. Diem sighed. She pushed the door open. Toan, I'm home. Why is the house pitch black like this? No answer. Diem fumbled in the darkness, intending to find a lighter for the oil lamp. A sense of self-pity crept into her heart. On her birthday, which she had just remembered, no one wished her well. She had fallen and hurt herself, and now she came home to a cold, dark house. Diem just wanted to crouch down and cry. Suddenly, snap, a small flame flickered to life in the middle of the room. Then the flame spread. It wasn't electric light. It was the glow of dozens of tiny candles. Toan had used old candle casings, added wax, and placed them inside empty snail shells he had collected, arranging them into a heart shape on the floor. In the center of that shimmering candlelight was the wooden table, and on the table sat the brilliantly colored purple sweet potato cake, and Toan, her husband, was standing there, dressed in his cleanest clothes, smiling at her. Diem stood rooted to the spot. The basket of bamboo shoots slid from her shoulder and hit the ground. Thud. She covered her mouth with her hands, her eyes wide in astonishment. Toan walked closer, gently guiding her into the center of the candlelit heart. He began to sing in a warm, resonant voice. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. His rustic singing voice echoed through the wooden cabin, drowning out the sound of the whistling wind outside. Diem burst into tears. Not the sobbing grief she felt when meeting Mr. Thu's mother, but silent tears of pure happiness. She looked at the potato cake, the candlelight, and her husband's beaming face. All the fatigue, pain, and self-pity of the day vanished instantly. You remembered my birthday. Deem asked, her voice choked with emotion. Toan gently wiped away her tears. I'm sorry, I couldn't buy a fancy cake or expensive roses. We're poor, so I only have homegrown things. Happy birthday to my beloved wife. I wish you health in this new age and fewer worries. Let me handle all the burdens. Toan pulled out a chair and invited Diem to sit. "Come on, blow out the candle. I made this wick myself. It burns for a long time." Diem closed her eyes. In the flickering light, her face looked strangely saintly and peaceful. What did she wish for? She didn't wish for wealth or riches. She wished for Toan to regain his memory, but still love her as he does now. She wished for this house to remain peaceful forever, far away from the evil people out there. Diem opened her eyes and blew. Whoosh. The candle flickered and went out, leaving a thin trail of smoke smelling of beeswax. Toan clapped his hands. "Let's cut the cake. I invite the lady of the house to taste this special coconut purple potato cake." He cut a slice and fed it to Diem. The earthy sweetness of the potato, the rich creaminess of the coconut milk, and the tartness of the wild berries blended together. "Is it good, honey?" "It's delicious. Tastier than any cake I've ever eaten," Deem said, truthfully. After finishing the cake, Toan secretly pulled the wooden hairpin from his pocket. "For you. Your hair is long. I think pinning it up with this will look beautiful." Diem held the hairpin. Under the candlelight, the polished rosewood shone, the apricot blossom carving looking exquisite. She knew that to make this, he must have spent the entire afternoon working meticulously. "It's so beautiful. Put it on for me." Toan stood up and moved behind his wife. He gently untangled Diem's messy hair, smoothing it out with his fingers. Then he skillfully twisted her hair into a bun and secured it with the wooden hairpin. Diem's rustic beauty suddenly became incredibly elegant and noble. Toan leaned down and kissed her hair lightly. "You are beautiful, Diem." In that moment, time seemed to stop. The space settled, leaving only love to fill the humble wooden house. Dear friends, the birthday party closed with boundless happiness. You don't need money. With just sincerity and care, people can turn the simplest things into something magnificent. The sweet potato cake and the wooden hairpin will remain the most beautiful memories in Diem's turbulent life. But all parties must come to an end. When the candles were extinguished, darkness returned. Out there, at the edge of the forest, a shadow had been watching the lit-up house the entire time. He pulled out his phone, snapping a photo of the happy couple together. A message was sent. "Target is off guard. Can act tonight." But the next morning, their lives went on as normal, completely oblivious to the danger lurking nearby. Diem cooked a pot of thin white porridge, served with some salty braised dried radishes that Mr. Thu's mother had given them. The couple took their bowls out to the wooden table on the porch, eating while watching the clouds drift lazily over the mountain peaks. Toan, Diem, blew on a spoonful of hot porridge. "What do you plan to do today?" Toan looked at the empty patch of land in front of the house where weeds were still growing wildly. "I've thought about it. Today, I won't do any heavy construction. I want to finish the fence around the vegetable garden. Wild animals have been sneaking in lately. I'm afraid they'll trample the mustard greens you just planted. Also, I want to build a shoe rack. Leaving our sandals messy at the door doesn't look classy at all." Diem giggled. "We live in a mud house and you're demanding classy. But okay, go ahead. I'm going to the stream to wash the blanket. Then I'll come back to weed the onion patch." They divided the work naturally and harmoniously. No one complained. Each had their own task to nurture this home. The peace was almost perfect. Almost. It wasn't about idleness. It was about the joy of doing what they loved alongside the person they loved. The sun rose high, pouring golden light like honey over the garden. Toan was shirtless, his toned muscles glistening with sweat. He was whittling bamboo strips to weave the fence. His hands moved deftly, weaving under and over. The bamboo strips intertwined, forming a perfectly even diamond-patterned lattice. Occasionally, Toan would stop and look up toward the vegetable garden. There, Diem was wearing an old conical hat, holding a small hoe to turn the soil. Her figure was slender, but resilient. Whenever Diem got tired, she would lean on her hoe to rest her eyes, searching for Toan. Their gazes met in mid-air. Toan would wink to tease his wife. Diem would smile shyly, and then bend down to continue working. No words were needed, yet the connection between them was stronger than any romantic declaration. It was the harmony of two souls who had walked through storms together and now cherished every moment of silence. Around 10 a.m., Toan finished the last section of the fence. He went to the water tank to wash his hands and feet, then carried a pot of fresh green tea out to the garden. "Take a break and have some water, wifey. The sun is right overhead." Diem dropped her hoe and ran over to sit flat on the grass next to her husband. Toan poured a cup of golden tea and handed it to her. "It's so refreshing." "Did you pick this tea on the hill yesterday?" "Yeah, from the ancient tea trees. Drinking it makes your voice sweet and cools you down." Twain took the towel from his shoulder and wiped the sweat from Diem's cheek. His movements were gentle, as if he were afraid of hurting her delicate skin. "Don't work too hard. We'll rest this afternoon. I'm taking you somewhere really cool." "Where?" Diem asked curiously. "It's a secret. You'll find out after lunch." Toan smiled mysteriously. Lunch today featured an extra dish omelet. It was a gift from heaven, from their young hen. Toan cut the egg in two, putting the larger portion in Diem's bowl. "Eat up to get your strength back." "You eat too. You do heavier work than I do." They kept pushing the tiny piece of egg back and forth, finally deciding to cut it in half again. After eating, the mountain breeze blew gently, lulling them into drowsiness. The couple spread a sedge mat in the middle of the cool wooden house. They lay side by side, heads resting on their arms, looking up at the roof, made of tin sheets mixed with palm leaves. "Toan, do you remember anything about the past?" Diem suddenly asked softly. Toan was silent for a moment. He closed his eyes. "To be honest, sometimes I see flashes of images. Skyscrapers, numbers, meetings. But they all feel strange and cold. I don't remember who I was in the past, but I know who I am in the present. I am your husband. I am the farmer of this garden. And I feel I like this life better." Toan turned, grasping Diem's hand. "If my memories return, but force me to leave this place to leave you, then I'd rather forget forever." Diem snuggled into his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. "That's all I need. Just having you by my side." The afternoon nap came gently. In their dreams, the wooden house turned into a castle, surrounded by chicks, chirping and running at their heels. By afternoon, the sun had softened. Toan kept his promise. He took Diem on a picnic. In reality, they didn't go far, just followed the trail, leading down to the large stream at the foot of the hill. But today, Toan wasn't fetching water. He was taking his wife out for fun. The stream water here was crystal clear. You could see the stark white pebbles at the bottom. Water trickled over moss-covered rocks. Toan chose a flat rock as big as a table sitting in the middle of the stream. "Sit here. The water is very cool." Diem rolled up her pants and dipped her bare feet into the water. The cool sensation ran down her spine, making her shiver with delight. Toan waded out a bit further, struggling to flip over a few large rocks. "What are you doing?" "I'm catching rock crabs. Tonight we'll make crab soup with jute greens. It's going to be out of this world." Diem sat on the rock, watching her husband look like an overgrown child playing in the water. She saw him laugh heartily every time he snatched up a crab. She saw his eyes sparkling with joy. Is this really the cold, sophisticated man from the old photo they found? Or has that man died, making way for the rustic, kind-hearted Toan of today? Got 5 of them, wifey enough for a pot of soup. Toan held up the basket to show off. He waded back toward Diem, casually plucking a bunch of wild purple flowers growing by the stream bank. "For you. They're just wildflowers, but the color lasts a long time." Diem took the flowers, tucking them into her hair, right next to the wooden hairpin. "Thank you. I'm so happy today." They sat together on the rock, watching the sunset slowly descend over the water. The sky shifted from blue to gold, then fiery red, and finally deep purple. The sound of frogs calling for mates began to buzz around them. A day passed so slowly, yet so quickly. They returned home at dusk. The fire was lit again. Tonight, there was stone crab soup with jute greens and quick pickled eggplants. A frugal meal, but filled with the sounds of laughter. Toan ate while telling stories about how back in the day, in his imagination, he was the crab king, catching crabs to feed the whole village. Diem laughed so hard she nearly choked on her rice. After eating, Toan pulled out an old bamboo flute he had found in the previous owner's belongings. He lifted it to his lips. At first, the sound was shaky, but after a few breaths, a melodious, soulful tune rang out. The flute sound soared, slipping through the wooden walls and drifting out into the silent mountains. Diem sat resting her head on her husband's shoulder, closing her eyes to enjoy the music. She felt strangely peaceful. It felt like all the storms had stopped outside that door, like the world only contained the 2 of them. But friends, as the old saying goes, peace is just the calm before the storm. When Toan's flute stopped, the silence became terrifying. From afar in the bushes at the forest edge, a pair of cold eyes was watching every move in the house. He lowered his binoculars, a cold smirk curling on his lips. "Enjoy it. Tonight will be your last peaceful night." Dear friends, we just spent a gentle and calm 24 hours with Toan and his wife. Seeing them laugh, seeing them work hard, seeing them exchange loving gestures. Surely, your hearts feel warmer too, right? That is the power of love and healing. But life isn't a fairy tale. Will these peaceful moments last forever? Or is it just psychological preparation for a big shock to come? Who is that stranger, and what is he plotting for tonight? Cherish these moments because the next episode will be a breathless chase you won't expect. Leave a comment saying, "May peace stay forever," to wish Toan and his wife well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Next episode, The Stranger Attacks, Battle for Survival in the Dark.